Hey guys, this is Vendel, real estate broker in Miami, Florida. Stay tuned for this podcast. I got a lot of great information to share and hope you guys enjoy.
Smarty pants. All right, we're live. We're here. So who do we got here today?
Vendelarati, glad to be a part of this. Thank you for inviting me.
All right, man. Tell the people what you do, man.
So I'm a real estate broker in Miami, Florida. It's a competitive market out here, but been doing it over 4 years now, almost 5. And I'm loving it, man. Loving it. I'm glad to get some education out there, some free info, and help you guys out.
Awesome. Thanks,
Thank you for coming.
All right, and then next to me, who do we got?
Chris Crespo. I work at Jackson Memorial Hospital. I do construction. We manage construction. We manage a lot of the hospital projects, the finance of the hospital, budgeting. We build different types of different hospitals for Jackson in different sectors. And I'm also getting my GC license now. We're gonna get the show on the road with that.
Boom. And I'm one of your hosts. I don't think we really have a host. This is just where everybody just comes on here and just has a good time. But my name is Julian Dubon. I'm from Miami, Florida. I have a background in finance, and I also worked in pharmacy for a little bit. We can talk about that today. And we just decided to get on here and start really tackling social media and making content. I think it's going to be a huge tool coming into 2025. And it's still something that's not saturated yet, at least when I think about it, because compared to the whole world, 1 million followers is nothing.
Yeah, and it's a lot. It's a lot for us, but to somebody up there, no, it's not.
Cool, man.
100%.
Cool. So, Vendel, how did you get into real estate? Like, where did that come from? What made you wanted to get into that industry?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I started pretty young. Right out of high school, I was like, what am I going to do? What's going to be my goal? And I obviously always had a lot of ambition. I wanted to enter a career that can give me high income. And so one of the first things that I thought about was real estate. I also had family members that were in the real estate business, mortgage, and that's kind of how I got the idea to get in there.
Cool. And what was something, I guess, because when you start something, you have this idea. I'm going to do real estate. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to do this. What was something that I guess came unexpected that you're like, I had no idea that, that it was going to be like this?
I'm glad you asked that because everybody's like, oh, real estate, I'm going to make so much money. It looks sexy. It's going to be easy. Frankly, Julian, everybody has their license in Miami. Every mom, grandma has it. So, getting into the business, it was a big shock to me. It wasn't what I expected. You're not going to just get your license and make $100,000 or more. And what I realized when I got into business, Julian, was that it's an outbound sales business. So just like how we're talking now, it's all about who you know and who you're talking to on a daily basis, whether that is going to events, cold calling, door knocking, DMing. The only way you're going to make money is, talking to people. And that's how it is,
Talking to people. I'm glad you brought up talking to people because we have someone here that loves to talk to people. So, yeah. Chris, why don't you let the people know how you can get better at talking to people, because you weren't always great at talking to people.
No, I wasn't. Used to be pretty shy. I like to face my fears. You always have to face your fears. And I'm somebody that if I'm scared of doing something, I'm going to do it even harder because I'm not scared of anything. And I refuse to believe that I'm scared of something and to accept that I'm scared of something. And for people to think that I'm scared of something on top of that. So that's one thing that forces me to talk to people. Sometimes I don't want to talk to people. It could be somebody in business. It could be a girl. I'm scared to talk, but that fear makes me go do it even harder because I'm not scared of anything. So the main thing is don't be scared of failure, number one, because through failure, you learn a lot and you grow a lot. So that's one thing people are very afraid of. They're afraid of failure. So, and be yourself. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Be positive always. because there's days that I don't want to talk to people, that I don't feel like talking to anybody, but I force myself to be happy and to talk to people because we could feel a lot of things. I feel one way, one mood one day, another mood another day, but we have our responsibilities. We have things that we have to do. So that's very important. Just tackling it. Just you're scared of it, do it. The more you do it, the more comfortable you're gonna feel with it.
Awesome. And then, Vendo, as a realtor, like, what do you think is something that you can do to, I guess, bring in more leads? Because that's always the big question is, how do I get leads? How do I get leads? You know, as a realtor, right, it's super competitive. How do you kind of separate yourself from, you know, other realtors out there? Or what have you done to help yourself get listings and make contacts?
Yeah, that's a good question. In my opinion, leads are everywhere. Anything can be a lead. You could be a lead right now. You could be walking down the street and
You never know
find
who
a
you're
lead.
speaking to. You never know what's in front of you. You never know what's gonna happen.
Everybody at some point in their life, they need a home, right? They're
Yeah.
either going to rent or buy someone. So for me, a lead can be anybody. But if you want an exact lead, you know, I know people are going to be like, Vendel, give me.
No. That you said you said the correct answer, and that was low key a
Leads.
setup. I'm not gonna lie, I was setting you up there, and you crushed it out of the park. So keep saying what you're saying because that's the right answer.
Not
Keep
even leads,
going.
it's people. People. That's the answer.
Yeah.
It's how many people you talk to. It's what connection you make off of them, and reminding them that you're a realtor. So when they think about buying, renting, or selling, you're the obvious choice. And then to answer your second question, how do you differentiate yourself? It's building a connection with the consumer, because everybody's a realtor. Everybody can give education content, can say I'm the best, I sold this many houses. But at the end of the day, they're going to go with the person they feel comfortable with. They have a connection. And so that's what you got to strive to do. Obviously, be educated, know what you're doing, know your craft, but at the same time, build a connection, you know, with people. So you're the person they choose.
Yeah, it's the same thing in construction. No, you're not gonna. There's a million GCs, there's a million builders out there, but the developer is gonna go to his friend, someone that, or her friend, someone that the person is comfortable with.
Yeah. And Chris, you do a really good job of this. You know, we'll be out and Chris will, disappear for 10 minutes and he'll come back.
They got to put a tracker on me. They got an air tag. I'm going to put it like a dog chain on.
And he'll come back and he'll tell me, dude, that guy's mom just passed away and she was battling with cancer. And, now he just started this new business and someone tried to steal from him. And I'm like, is this your cousin? Like, you went to high school with him? And he's like, no, I just met him right now. I'm like, that guy just met you and he told you like his whole life story, his deepest, darkest secrets. So what do you do, or I guess, what do you say that people just feel comfortable opening up, with you?
To start off with, I'm an open book. I tell everybody who I am. I'm very open, very genuine with people of who I am. If you like me, good. If you don't, I'm sorry, but that's who I am. And that's the people like that. People like a genuine person. People like somebody that's friendly, somebody that motivates others. Because I'm never negative towards others either. So people like that. People like you caring. They get a sense that I care. I tell them about my life, my struggles right away off the bat. So then they just feel comfortable. But I feel comfortable doing that with people because I don't have nothing to hide also. And I'm hardworking and I think I'm a good person. I try to help people and I love everybody. Also, I love the world. You gotta love the world. You gotta love people. So
a little bit up.
So me doing that, me being open with them, allows them to feel comfortable with me, and they open up to me, and I help them, and I give them advice, and I give them real advice, and sometimes the advice that's very controversial or something they don't want to hear. They're hearing it from a random guy, but they know what it takes for me to tell them that. So they're gonna even like me even more. So just be yourself, be honest to people. Don't front to anybody. Don't try to be somebody you're not. And people see that, and people start to like you, and they like who you are, your personality. And there's people that don't like me. There's people that don't like me. A lot of people don't like me.
and just to add to that, because what you're saying is super true. People can sense when you're not being your authentic self.
Yeah.
So people can't connect with you if you're not being yourself.
You can't be a poser.
Yeah.
That's being a poser. We learned that Band of Brothers. Shout out Band of Brothers. We learned that in the boot camp. You can't be a poser.
Yeah.
And being a poser is being somebody you're not, trying to portray that you're something or let people sense that. Because then you get caught in lies and all this stuff because you have to start keeping up with stuff. Be yourself. If you're doing bad, I tell people, I'm not doing well right now. And this happened. And I don't care.
And if you don't like yourself, then be the best version of yourself.
Of course.
If you don't like who you are right now, who do you want to be? And act like that person.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be the best version of yourself. What would that person do? Go to the gym, eat healthy habits, healthy goals.
Of course. You can continue to be yourself and like the things that you like, but be the best version.
100%.
The most hardworking version of yourself. Whatever you're interested in, work hard in that and develop that skill that you have.
So
you will grow.
Vendel, how has, I guess, I don't know if have you always worked out? Have you always been like a gym bro, or is that something that you started recently?
So, really, I've done it from such a young age. I've always gone to the gym. I mean, as a kid, I was active, played sports, soccer, basketball, football, and I started going to the gym at around 13, 14 years old. And from there, man, it's been a passion of mine.
Wow.
You know, to me, it's like some people say, oh, I have to go to the gym. I don't like it. Like, you know, it's a chore. But for me, man, it's like I don't know. It's like a passion, bro. It's therapy to me. It feels good. I look forward to it. Except if it's leg day, then maybe.
And it's like, I don't know if I want to go today.
And I don't know.
My back hurts today.
But it's a big factor on the person I am today, because gym is not just about building muscle. It's also about your mind, your confidence, how you look yourself in the mirror, attracting a partner, right? It's a lot of good things that come from it. And I recommend, if you're an entrepreneur or just anybody that in general, man, I recommend you go to the gym.
Yeah, when you look at yourself in the mirror, you're your worst critic. People like to talk about fat is beautiful and all this stuff. You're your worst critic. You know what you look like. If you're not happy with what you look like, honestly, when you look at yourself in the mirror and you don't lie to yourself, then you're not gonna be confident, and you're not gonna be able to perform, and you're gonna speak to somebody with no confidence, very insecure. You're gonna be. So if you look good, you know you look good. You look in the mirror, you're like, I like what I see. You're gonna walk like that throughout the day. You're gonna act like that throughout the day. And people are going to notice that. People are going to get that sense, that aura that you give off. Mm-hmm. Because you feel confident. Everything you do is with confidence after that. That's a big factor.
Let's take a short break here. Let's get a shout out to some of our sponsors. First sponsor, shout out to Belmont Farms in Ocala. We appreciate you. Thank you for sponsoring the podcast. Also, shout out to Caldwell Banker. That's right. Shout out your brokerage.
Coldwell Banker Realty, one of the biggest companies out there. Definitely.
Awesome. And then let me just make sure that we're recording. Everything's good. All right, cool. I was kind of nervous about that. Another sponsor of the show. Shout out to the Father of Seven Hot Sauce. We love you. We appreciate the JV family. Thank you. Okay, so Vendel, this is it's not a tough question, but it's definitely a topic that affected me a lot, especially when I first started out. Mm-hmm. So what is something that you did, or how did you deal with maybe like your family or your friends not trusting you to get a deal done, or not even being open to the conversation of real estate, right? Because it's a tough pill to swallow when you want to be a realtor for someone in your family or someone that you know, and they know that you do this, they know you're passionate, and they go someone else. So I don't know if that's happened to you, or I guess what are some things that you've done that have gotten your friends and family to trust you, or at least being open to talking about it with you?
Yeah. That's an amazing question and something to really think about. So it's really all about limiting beliefs. It's all about what you carry in your mind. When I started in the business, I had a limiting belief that did hold me back. Mm-hmm. And that was, I'm too young. People are not going to trust me with the biggest, sale of their life, which is, their biggest asset, a home. And so that did affect me. But until I realized that, it's all about how you carry yourself and detaching from the outcome. If that person, does not want to work with you, it's okay. But at least you did everything in your power and you were confident in yourself, because the truth is not everybody's going to work with you, not your family, friends, and you got to be okay with it, strangers are gonna be more receptive to working with you than your family, which is crazy, but
Yeah.
it's gonna happen. So I would just recommend, remove any limiting beliefs like I'm too young, I'm not good enough, and detach from the outcome. Go there, do your best presentation, be your best self. And if that person works with you, great. If not, move on to the next one and have an abundant mindset.
Yeah.
Don't have a scarcity mindset where like, I need them to work with me, because people can sense that. And if they feel like you are pressuring them to work with you, they might, be scared and push you away. So
Yeah,
that's
and
my advice.
One thing that I can give you just as a compliment that you do already is every time I've seen you, you're dressed professionally, like put together, hair done, button down, slacks, nice shoes, like awesome. Like you do a great job of that, which is something that I struggled with, early in my life. Honestly, is that I never really took pride in dressing nice and looking professional. So if you are young, that's definitely one thing that you can start doing is dressing professional, because people treat you so everybody says don't judge a book by its cover, but that's what everybody does.
Yeah,
100%.
that's what the cover's for.
Yeah, that's so
How
true.
are we not gonna judge a book? But
Invest in good clothes, cologne, get a haircut at least minimum twice a week, smell good, shower like
twice a week.
Twice
Every 2 weeks.
every 2 weeks. Sorry.
So cologne, I think cologne is probably one of the most underrated things. Like I don't know why. So let's talk about like what are some of your favorite colognes or dailies? Because you have the ones that you put on for that special night, but what are some dailies? That's probably more affordable that people can do. If you want to give that out, I'm not sure.
Well, I'm wearing right now Giorgiano, I believe it's called. It's pretty good. And then there's also Dior Sauvage is a very good one. It's a classic, just to get one out there.
Cool, Chris. What are some dailies for you?
I love cologne. The 1 million cologne is really good. I like the Montclair Explorer is really good. The YSL Black, really good as well.
That's a strong one.
Very good. Creed, if you have the money for Creed, obviously get Creed.
Sell some houses first.
Yeah. Creed's my favorite, but that's for some special occasions.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I love all of anything YSL cologne. I think it's awesome, but definitely a starter Versace Blue is really good, nice clean smell. And it's all about presentation, right? One thing that I've learned that we've talked about here in our office in our training is you got to sell the sizzle, right? Like when you're in a restaurant and they bring out that plate and it's going, everyone's like, oh, I want that. I want to order that, right?
What's that? Then that smell. They smell in the kitchen and turn around and say, "What's that smell? What's that? What's that food? What's coming out of the kitchen right now?"
Yeah. So I think it's big, using the senses.
You walk into a place and everybody's like, "What's that?
What's that smell? Who smells so good?"
And they see you and you're dressed nice. You smell good. You look good. They're like, "Wow."
First impression is key.
Yeah.
It is key.
Very important for everything.
So, Vendel, how can you turn a conversation into a real estate conversation? Right. So let's say you sit down, we're at a restaurant and, hey, bro, whatever, nice to meet you. How do you kind of turn that conversation into a real estate conversation without, this guy like, oh, this guy's trying to sell me. Like, who is this? Who does this guy think he is?
Honestly, Julian, you really just got to be natural. Have a natural conversation. And through that conversation, I feel like it comes up naturally that you're in real estate. If you want like an actual tip, maybe ask that person what they do for work. And then usually when you ask a question like that, people are going to ask you back what you do for work. And it won't come off as like forced, It would have been like, oh, they asked me. So that's a good opportunity to bring up, I'm in real estate. But I wouldn't suggest right off the bat, hey, I'm a realtor, this is my card. Have a little bit of a small talk going, a connection, then maybe be like, hey, by the way, I'm in real estate. What do you do for work? Or, just do it genuinely. Be genuine about it.
Exactly.
Cool, man.
You don't force it. You just let them know. And then when they want to, they know who to go to. When they're ready.
So, Vendel, talk about your first deal. Like, how did that go down? What was it like? What are some things that you learned? And how was that overall process?
So my first deal, well, I don't know if I told you, I got into real estate when I was 19 years old. So I already have a baby
Wow.
face. I'm 23. I still gotta imagine at 19.
Yeah.
So it was tough. I was battling the limiting belief. Just like you, I was scared to talk. I
Yeah.
wasn't as confident coming out of high school, and this career really pushed me out to open up my shell and be a communicator, which is something I didn't know I would have to do eventually. But going back to the first deal, so it was actually a past client of mine. It was a referral from another realtor. I helped that person rent, and he gave me a call a couple months after that. Hey, I have an investment property. I'd like you to list it. And that was about 6 months after I got my license that I got my first
Nice.
sale deal. And that was my first listing. I was really happy, really excited. It was through a past client. That's how it happened.
So referrals. So I guess
A
kind of talk
referral,
about
past client.
how do you work the referral market like as a realtor? Because obviously, hey, if you know anyone, that's not going to get you that far. So what are some things that you do that can not guarantee you a referral, but you're going to be more likely for them to pass you on?
How to build a referral. So there's many different ways. Obviously, be in touch with the people you know. Your CRM is a good way to do that. Having a CRM, doing monthly emails, doing texts, calling your clients from time to time, maybe telling them happy birthday, or if there's any special event, house anniversary. And a really big key is social media. Because what are people constantly on right now? Their phone, right?
It's true.
All day. While they're driving, while they're using the bathroom, while they're doing anything on their phone.
Yeah. So
Going down the stairs on their phone.
why not be on what everybody is constantly looking at? Instagram, Facebook, right?
Yep. That's why we're here. And, I've been able to learn a lot, even though I've only been doing social media, like really working it, because I consider myself an extreme person, meaning that I'm either extremely this or extremely that. Like I'm never and I can never do something halfway. Like for example, if someone says, "Bro, just have one cookie," I'm like, "No,
You gotta have the whole
I
the whole
cannot."
box.
Yeah. I know myself. So when a good buddy of mine, shout out to Danny Rodriguez, will link his stuff. He really motivated me to do social media. It's honestly something that I've always loved. I've always loved making videos. When I was little, I wanted to be a YouTuber. Like that was what I wanted to do. And I was just very private. My Instagram, even as a business owner, which is not smart. Your Instagram should not be private if you are a business owner. And I didn't have anything in my bio. I was like an undercover financial advisor, like undercover. I didn't want anyone to know what I did, who I was. I never posted. I thought it was just way cooler if nobody knew who I was and mysterious. I thought it was cool being mysterious and nobody knowing about my life or knowing what I do, but it couldn't be more far from the truth. So as someone that has kind of dabbled a little bit, but hasn't really committed, what are like some questions that you have that maybe I can answer for you, like about social media and posting, and just from what I've been able to learn in a short amount of time?
Well, I love what you're doing, what you're implementing now, the daily reels. I mean, even just me, I've been seeing it now on my feed. I'm like, even me, it's attracting my feed. So I love it. But I would love to know, what do you suggest or recommend for me to do to have higher engagement, more views, attract more people with reels? Do you think I should post more? Do you think I should be more creative? Like, what are you doing to have better engagement and do a better job with your reels?
So for me, just my vision with all of this is I don't want my page to be about, finances, even though I love finance. I love what I do. I don't want my page to feel like a commercial, because in my house, we don't even watch commercials. My dad records everything, or he'll watch it. The game will already be over.
And he'll be watching. He's not online. He's not looking at anything. He'll wait to watch the game.
So, I haven't seen a commercial in years. Like, I don't like watching commercials, and I don't think people like watching commercials either.
That's why
people want
to so successful.
Yeah, people want to see the game. They don't care about the commercial. People want to watch the game. So I would relate that directly to you, right? People don't want to see a commercial about what you do. People want to see who you are, like as a human being. So I think the most important thing is, number one, being consistent, right? Because what's even more embarrassing about posting a bad reel or posting something bad
It's quitting.
is quitting.
Quitting
Right?
after.
It's quitting, right? So I kind of screwed myself in the sense that I've already done so much that I can't stop. Like if I stop, I just look like a quitter, and
Yeah.
that's
now
it.
you're,
That,
now
yeah,
You're now you're really lame.
yeah. Now you're really lame for quitting. So my thing is start doing it and just show people what your life is like. And you know, I was having an intense conversation with a friend, and because he's surrounded by content creators and he's surrounded by he I'm not gonna get into detail, but he's in the industry, he's in the business, like he's more of a behind the scenes guy. And you know, I said, hey dude, when are you gonna start doing content? Like you have all the resources, you have everything you need. He says, bro, you know, I'm not I'm more of a behind the scenes guy. And okay, I accepted that answer. But what I didn't accept was when he said, and bro, like I have nothing interesting to say. And then that's when I got mad. That's when I got upset.
Limiting belief.
And I told him, I said, dude, you know, you don't need to be making $1 million a year to have a story to tell, right? People are interested in who you are. You don't know how your story can help someone else out there. I kept telling him, I'm like, dude, once you realize how much value that you have and that you bring a lot to the table, people want to know that. People want to know who you are. People want to know who Vendo is. People want to know, right? So I think that's a huge belief factor that you need to get over in your head if you really want to enjoy social media, because you can do it and hate it, but then I don't know how long you can last doing something that you absolutely hate.
Yeah.
But I think when you realize how much value you really bring to the table, not just as a realtor, but just as a human being, and your human experiences and what you've learned from school, your parents, your family, other people, and understanding the value that you have, that's when social media gets fun, right? When you understand, like, dude, I'm doing everyone a favor by posting.
Yeah.
That's when it becomes great. Like by posting stuff about Jesus, about business, or just working out, I'm blessing other people. I'm, you know, telling them, hey, like this is exactly what I did. This is what I do. This is what you can do.
And you feel happier, and you have more confidence too.
Yeah.
And you engage with people, engage with you, and you start to create ideas with people and collaborate with others, and it's fun. And you grow, and it's actually very fun once the ball gets rolling. It's very fun. So
Vendo, this is something just I observed from you. How do you walk around with that confidence? Like every time I see you, you're enderezado, you're walking straight, you talk good, smooth guy. Did you always have that? Is that something you just developed over time?
Well, thank you for saying that I'm confident. I don't know if I was that confident. Really, Julian, it's all about, your mindset and how you think about yourself. If you think you're not a person that's worthy, you're going to carry that around. But if you have positive affirmations and you tell yourself you're good enough, that's going to reflect, when you speak to people, when you walk around. So it's really having positive beliefs, positive mindset. And that doesn't happen overnight. No, I was not always like this. When I was younger, I was much more shyer. I was not as confident. I had some limiting beliefs, like I told you. And over time, I was aware of those beliefs, and they were holding me back, holding me from being a good realtor, a better person. And once I identified them, I was able to remove them and create, more stronger, positive beliefs that eventually over time, made me the person I am today. But I'm not perfect. I still, from time to time, I get nervous or I'm not confident. We're not Superman, you know, but we're all living and we all have the same problem.
Let me ask you a question. What are your friends like?
That's important. My friends, they gotta be successful. They can't be doing drugs. They can't be, out there destroying their life. So your friends are, a representation of who you are.
Exactly.
They're in the business, real estate. They're successful. Those are the people I want to be around. You know, people who are doing
Things for themselves.
something for their life and they got good attributes.
Yeah.
Because bad friends will drag you down with them, and you're gonna be in the same hole. You're gonna be associated with them. Whatever they do, you're associated with it. And so be very careful where you go, what people you put yourself around, and what you do, because you're always being watched. So that's another thing.
Yeah, there's a powerful
And
quote.
people talk, especially in Miami.
Oh yeah,
Miami's a small city.
Yeah.
And everything goes around. Everybody knows everything about you like that in the night.
Yeah.
The next day you're on the
100%.
news.
And a powerful quote that I saw was, "Would you want your son or daughter to be friends with who you're friends with now?"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I love my friends, by the way. So yes,
I love my friends. I love you guys. If you,
I love
if you're
my
watching
friends.
this. And if
That's my
if you
cuz.
do watch this, you are my real friend. If you are watching this video right now, you are my real friend. But Vendel, how did you grow up? Like, what was your upbringing like? I know everybody might say, "Oh, I didn't grow up this way," or "I grew up this way." What was like your upbringing like, and how has that molded you to the person you are today?
Yeah, very good question. So, really, me growing up has been in Miami and also out of Miami because I'm actually half Cuban and half Hungarian. So, I would be traveling many times over there through my childhood to Hungary, Budapest, and also living here in Miami. So, I got the best of both different cultures, and I guess maybe that gave me a little bit of a European background and Latino and knowing the best of both worlds. But pretty regular, mom lived here, dad lived in Hungary, so fly there from time to time and live here. And it was pretty basic childhood. I had a good childhood, a good family, and yeah, I can't complain, man. I have good parents. Love my mom, love my dad. Even though they're not together, I learned a lot from both, and I'm grateful to be a part of such two different cultures. No Hungary, Budapest, Europe, which is completely different from down here, Miami, the craziness, Latinos. So I love it,
And were you raised in like a religious household? Was faith a big thing, growing up? Like, church, Sunday school, communion?
Yeah, my mom is religious. We have we're Christian. We did go to church. I did my communion, baptism, and God has been a big part of where I am today. He's helped me through a lot of tough times, and because of him is also why I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, because we met, at a night out. Shout out to Groove Miami, put on great events. Those guys are good. We got to get those guys here on the
Yeah, we do.
on the
We
podcast.
do.
Young guys
Shout
that
out
are
Christian Gasca.
Yeah,
the man.
Shout out Gasca, Lucero, best DJs in the world.
Oh, yeah.
E Disick, shout out. So yeah, we actually met, at a club, pretty much. We
Crazy,
met,
right?
Crazy, and now
now we're here.
doing a
Look
podcast.
Look at that.
So go.
They say nothing good comes from the club.
So when you do go out, your goal, right? Because I used to have this thing, I'm not going to go out anymore. And Wayne, my mentor, he would say, going out is not the problem. It's how you go out, right? So the same thing with social media. Social media is not a problem, but you need to leverage social media as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. So the same thing goes for going out. When you're going out, leverage that opportunity that you're around, a lot of people. You don't know who you're sitting at. Like you and Christian, I didn't know that next to me, we're two successful realtors and that we could, do business later on or even get on a podcast. So we actually met there at Muse, and I don't know where I was going with this, but initially we were talking about God in the club. Like that's the conversation that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Because I had showed you that I had my USB on me, and you're like, bro, well, why do you have that? And I'm like, dude, because you never know, right? You never know when your opportunity is gonna come. So
God's gonna put in your path.
You don't know what God's gonna put in your path, but God is not going to put you in an opportunity that you're not prepared for. Right. So, going back to faith and through God, you can make a lot of connections and meet a lot of good people that are going to help you grow. Right. So same thing
That's
with
right.
the gym. So a couple of things that I look for in somebody that you want to be friends with. Right. Number one is faith. right? Do they have any kind of faith? Not saying that I'm not going to be your friend if you don't have faith, but you know, the ideal person that I want to spend time with, that I want to be around, that I can learn from, you know, they have some kind of faith. Everyone is on a different walk in their journey. Number two is also fitness, right? You know, are they in shape? Because when you look at all of our friends or the people that we spend a lot of time with, pretty much everyone is in shape. Yeah, as in maybe they're not a bodybuilder, but they're the people.
They go to the gym,
yeah,
they work out, they're good.
Right. So faith and fitness are two big ones for me. So Vendel, like, what is something that I guess you look for in a friend, or something that would be like, man, like I want to get to know this person?
Yeah, I mean, definitely those points that you said were pretty good. Having fitness, faith, but really for me, it's really just seeing the type of person they are, and you know how they treat people around them. You know, I like people who are humble, who don't think they're better than others. I like people that are themselves and they're not trying to be someone else. And I could be friends with anybody, man.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're ugly, you're fat, or
Yeah, I mean,
I don't care how you look. It's to put it in a nice way. If you have a good heart, if we got a good connection, we got things that are in common, that we like real estate, DJ, whatever it is, music. I feel like we'll bond. You know, it's all about having common interests and being a good person and having, you know, authenticity.
Yeah. And Vendel, for somebody that wants to get started in real estate, or they're interested in learning, what should they do?
Well, number one, realize real estate is not easy. It's highly competitive. So make sure you really love it. Like, do you love real estate? Do you love talking to people? Do you love the architect? Do you like knowing about it, studying? And if you like those things, then definitely, you know. But it's a sales business, so you gotta like talking to people, being out there. I wouldn't recommend it to people who want more of more of a introverted or more of a lone type of business. And then
and you have to be okay with rejection.
You gotta be okay with rejection.
And continuing. There's a lot of rejection in sales.
Yeah,
and you have to be very okay with that.
In life.
Oh,
And life.
and
life,
something
you get rejected all
really,
the time.
really important is you gotta be okay with this not being like a consistent income. This is not like a 9 to 5. You get paid by the hour.
Yeah, no.
This is a commission based job. Some people, the first time they become a realtor, they don't get paid until like 6 months, a year. I don't know. And 2024 was a very difficult real estate market. A lot of realtors actually, you know, got out the business. But I'm not saying this to discourage people out there. I just want people to be well informed, because when I got into the business, nobody told me this. I thought it was easy. I thought it was sexy. I thought it was like selling sunset, which is what people see.
Yeah.
Like those chicks that, they got a $5 million listing. Like, no. So number one, you got to like talking to people, you know, be out there. And number two, you got to be okay with getting no's. It's a sales business. And three, you know, having savings and being okay that you're not going to get paid as consistently until you have, you know, a lot of referrals and an established business.
Yeah, a lot of people go into real estate. I've noticed they go in there thinking it's gonna be like it's gonna save them. They're not doing well, and this is gonna be.
No. Did I tell you the statistic?
cushion.
The statistic rate for real estate? It's about like 88% fail within the first 2 years.
That's insane. You see? Yeah.
Yeah.
If people like to give up, don't give up.
So
it's tough. It's tough.
When things got tough, Vendel, what helped you stick it out? When things got hard, or you know, you had issues, what made you, or I guess kept pushing you that you're like, no, I'm gonna stick to this. I'm not gonna try something else.
Man, there were times where I could be honest, like, is this really the career for me? Like, I had times, low points where I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, if I want to maybe do something else. But I've always had like a tough ambition. I always like, if I do something, like I need to be successful, and like I have to. I don't want to quit. I don't want to be a quitter. So in those times, man, I really just sticked it through. I gave myself more patience, and in the end, things got much better over time.
Cool. And then did you lose any friends getting into real estate? I guess like having to focus on your business or choosing friends, family versus, cold calling or working?
Lost a lot of friends. At least from high school, I have maybe a handful. Like I could count on my fingers that are still my friends. So definitely, I feel like since I went through a different path, I became a different person. A lot of my old friends maybe didn't have the same connection with me, and they kind of distanced. And I guess that's just life, You attract people based off the person you become, and, other people go on different paths if they don't align with, who you are.
And as a realtor, and I know Chris can talk about this too, how do you manage having to work with so many moving parts, right? Because you're dealing with the client, you're dealing with the mortgage broker, you're the title company, the inspector. How do you, I guess, balance that and still communicate with everyone and make sure everyone's informed?
Being organized. If you're not an organized person, this business is not going to work out. Have a schedule, time block, have a calendar, what you're going to do every hour. When is your gym time? When is your client time? When you're following up with the title company, the lender, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Chris, so how do you manage, balancing the GC, your company, all the different trades, subcontractors?
Same things. I schedule everything. I write everything down. I have to write everything down because you forget. There's a lot of things to do. Also, some things take longer than others. So list them by priority. What you need to do right now, what's very important, what's going to take long, so also manage it in a way that you can get it all done and you prioritize what needs to be done right away, something that doesn't take that long. You could do it before the thing that's going to take a long time and it's going to take a lot of your time. So is managing how you do it, writing everything down, making a schedule, how you say, block your schedule, make a schedule block, and then go hit it, go straight forward, and you're gonna mess up sometimes. You're gonna mess up in real estate and in construction. People make a lot of mistakes. Grown people that have been doing it for years, 20 plus years, 30 years, they make mistakes still. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's scary when you do make a mistake because a mistake could be detrimental. It could cost a lot of money, but that's that world. So you have to be able and be willing to go in there, make a mistake, have everybody look at you, yell at you, maybe fire you. Like it can't happen. You keep going. You go to the next one. You study. You become better. You take your failure and you learn from that. But you have to schedule everything. You have to schedule. You have to be very wise with your time.
There's so many things, at least on my mind, because I'm doing so many things. You're going to forget stuff. If you don't write them down, if you don't put them on a schedule, like that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. So you have to litigate and also litigate to people.
Delegate.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Also,
my English is nobody good looking.
Also litigate. Also, sometimes you got to go in there and
you got to delegate and you got to say, hey, listen, you got to do this. You got to do this. You got to do this. Make sure, and you have to make sure they do it, but you have to tell people what they have to do because it's not all on you either. At the end, when you're the manager, it falls on you. It's all your fault at the end, but you have to tell people what to do. You have to make sure they did it. So you also have to be able to pass things on, communicate with others well, so that they know what they're supposed to do. You know what they're supposed to do. Everybody knows what they're supposed to do, and they all go ahead.
So Vendo, a little, I guess a situational question. This is not rehearsed. You didn't know I'm going to ask him this. I want to invest into real estate, but I'm scared. What if the deal doesn't go, what if the deal doesn't turn out profitable? What if, we can't find a renter or we can't find another buyer to do a flip? Walk me through that. I have the money, right? Because there's people that have the money to invest, but they're scared to take the risk. How would you bring a deal to a client to kind of show them and ease them like, hey, look, right? Because there's no guarantees. And I talked about this in one of my reels. There's no guarantees, but you can give yourself the best odds, right? So as a realtor, how can you give someone, or how can you, reassure a client that they have very good odds of making money on this deal?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, in any investment, Julian, I'm sure there's always a risk. Like, unfortunately, I can't say that everything's always going to be 100% perfect, because I'd be lying to you and I'd be doing you a disservice. But when you have a qualified professional who does this every day, your chances of that risk are much lower, right? Than if you bought that property by yourself, and if you don't know what you're doing, your risk is going to be much higher. So my job is to have that risk factor be at its ultimate lowest. I'm not saying that there could be deals or there could be, fuck ups, like you say. But the way to do that is, hiring me, number one.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I do this every day, and I actually just had a successful deal, if you want me to talk about it.
Yeah.
Talk it was a first time investor. He had the same thoughts, Vendel, prices are high, interest rates are high. What if I get a bad deal? What if we can't rent it for that price and I can't cash flow? I told him I understand that. Everybody would be thinking the same thing. But let's analyze things and be analytical about it and try to minimize our risk as much as possible. And that's what we did. From, A to Z, I walked them through it. We looked at properties. I calculated everything, how much that property is worth, how much it could rent for, how much the mortgage would be. And, we even did a interest rate buy down. So we lowered his interest rate so the monthly payment can work with the rent and he could cash flow. So there's always things, loops around where you can work with and, really get a good investment deal. So we did that. We bought the property at a good price, got the buy down. And when we put the property up for rent, I rented it in 1 day, believe it or not.
Wow. Awesome.
We put it at 24. I got it for 2,500. So that's a successful deal. And, don't be scared of the risk, because you might not know what's on the other side.
Powerful.
You don't know what's coming.
And then what I got from what you said is preparation, right?
Yeah.
So walk us through, right? Obviously, you got to make the call, set the appointment, right? So let's say you did that. You have the appointment. What are some things that you do to prepare, in order to meet with this client and get their business?
So you're talking about before they're my client.
Yeah, or I guess even with this person that was a first-time investor, what did you do to prepare for that conversation or that initial meeting?
Yeah, that's a good question. So always I like to meet face-to-face. I like to talk to the person over the phone and set up a consultation at my office. And from there, in order to minimize anxiety, risk, I walk people through a plan on how everything is going to be. And that tends to calm people's anxiety and show, this guy knows what he's doing. And I feel confident that he, can help me get the result I want. So I showed him my plan, my consultation. I showed him how the layout, how the framework would work to buy a property, to get a good deal, the negotiations that I will be making on his behalf, to secure, the goal that he had.
Awesome. And then last question, just to kind of wrap things up. What would you say to someone that I guess doesn't have any faith or is struggling in their faith and they're kind of looking for answers?
Struggling with faith. I mean, that's a difficult one. I feel like, we're living in a floating ball in the middle of space. How can you think that that's just by accident? There's so much things that are out of our control and are unexplainable. Obviously, there's someone behind all that. And, you just got to think about it. Like, try it. Just try it. If you already have no faith and you already have the effort to do that, imagine putting faith, because it's harder to not have faith.
That's literally what I was going to say right now. It's harder to not have faith
than to have faith. Just try it out. And if it doesn't work out, then okay.
The shirt you're wearing has a creator. This microphone has a creator. Why wouldn't we have a creator? Why wouldn't the earth have a creator? And if you're struggling with faith, God forgives you. God forgives you. God loves you. Mm-hmm. And no matter what you do, God is always going to forgive you. God's always going to love you. You always can be forgiven, will be forgiven. There's always a way back. And you can fix what you did. Love yourself. Move forward. And know that there's always a brighter... what's in front of you is bright. It's bright. If you make it dark, it's going to be dark. Love God. Follow God. And He will give you the world. Things may be bad right now. I've had bad times. We've all had very bad times. But you get out of it. You have put your faith in God. Keep your head up.
And we've had great times.
You've had great times.
Great times.
But life is about great times and bad times. There's great times are great. Bad times are also great because you learn. If you sit and you pout when things are going bad and you're upset and you're cursing God and things are not going to get better because your life is just more negativity, more negative. You be positive. You praise God. God will give you gifts. You continue to be who you're supposed to be. And you will grow and you will learn from those bad situations. That's what you learn. That's what you learn. That's what you grow in those bad situations. So follow God. Always follow God. Follow the word. Follow the word of God, because when you do, you make more friends. Life becomes great.
Good things happen.
Great things happen, and people don't want to believe it. People don't want to, but when you do it and you feel happy, you feel energetic, you feel that you want to tackle the world when you wake up in the morning. That's what God does.
Awesome.
Don't do life by yourself. Life is already so difficult.
Yeah,
Why?
You're never alone. God's always.
Why be by yourself, man? There's already so
right,
much.
This room just got.
There's already so much suffering, so much bad things that go on. Anxiety, worry. Why do that all on your own?
Yeah.
Give that to God.
Yeah.
Release all that weight, anxiety, because if you're struggling, let's say with talking to people, having anxiety, just praying to God and giving your anxiety to Him, you're gonna feel so much better. I came into this meeting a little bit tense, a little bit anxious, and now at the end of it, I'm like, I feel good. You give it to God, you feel good,
Yeah. And Vendo, obviously, God is a great mentor. Jesus is a great mentor. But in business, how important or if you did or you didn't, how important was it to have a mentor in your business?
Well, you're not going to believe this, but I took the hard way to learn everything. I recommend when you get into this business, you have a mentor because you have a shortcut. But when I started in this business, I did this by my own. I had to figure everything out, and it took me a couple years before I eventually, found my path and really, knew my craft and what to do.
So if you could do it over again, you would definitely have a mentor.
If I could do it over again, I'd have a mentor.
And if people want to work with you or they want you to be their mentor, is that something that you're open to? Can they reach out to you for you to mentor them?
100%. If you want, you can reach out to me at Instagram. My Instagram is my first name, VENDEL Aradi, ARADI, or you could reach out to me by cell 786-365-8019.
And before we wrap it up, anything else that you want to tell the people or send a message or something you want to say?
No, just go out there, be positive, have a good mindset, like he's saying. Trust God, and you'll be surprised what that could do for you.
There's one thing I want to add. This is an unpopular opinion.
Oh,
in business, in business, religion is very important in business because successful. Well, I'm not gonna say all successful people, but successful people, the majority of them are very religious. They're very religious, and somebody that has no faith in anything or anybody and does not care to fuck you over. That's how people that are religious look at it. And successful, they're not afraid to fuck you over. They're not afraid to do bad to you because you have no substance when you have no religion. There's no morality when there's no religion. So it plays a huge, huge role, and you will be judged by who you are, but by your religion. And it's important to have a strong faith in your religion. We're Christian, but it's very important to have a strong faith in what you believe in. And it's important to believe in something. That's how I just wanted to add that.
Love it.
And last thing, and I think even if you're doing business with someone that doesn't believe in the religion that you do, I think they still respect it. They still respect that you are in your own thing and you respect them, and just because
it's a morality that you have, and it's something people know your religion. They all know different. The few main religions in the world, we all know them.
Yeah.
So you have a strong faith in your religion. It says a lot about you, and you're a respectable person because with religion comes discipline.
Yeah, it's not easy.
With religion, if you're really very religious, comes a lot of discipline. You can't do a lot of things, and you have to do a lot of things. So if you're able to do that, you're somebody that is respected. That gives you respect from somebody else, especially a successful person.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, awesome, guys. Thank you so much again.
Thank you so much for
thank
bringing
you.
me on,
Great
guys.
guys.
episode.
Thank you, Julian.
We'll see you guys
Man.
out there in the field.
Yes, sir. Take care, guys.
Take care, everyone.